Today we'll be talking about Soma cubes. How can we divide up a big cube, 3 by 3 by 3, made up of 27 smaller cubes, into multiple pieces of 3 or 4 cubes? Think on that for a second. Here I have an example of 7 pieces, each piece made up of either 3 or 4 smaller cubes that can be combined in some way to make up a 3 by 3 by 3 big cube. We call this the Soma Cube. The Soma Cube refers to a 7-piece puzzle invented by Danish polymath Piet Hein. The Soma Cube, consisting of 7 pieces, can create various geometric shapes other than a 3 by 3 by 3 big cube. These 7 pieces make up the Soma Cube. First off, to familiarize ourselves with the Soma Cube pieces, let's organize information about each of the pieces into the table below. We'll note down the number of smaller cubes that each Soma Cube piece is made up of, as well as their name using the alphabet. This first piece here is made up of 3 smaller cubes, and we call it V because it has the V shape. For piece number 2, it's made up of 4 smaller cubes, and we call this L. For piece number 3, it's also made up of 4 smaller cubes, and we call it T. For piece number 4, again, 4 smaller cubes, and it resembles the letter Z. For the 5th piece, it's also made up of 4 smaller cubes, and we call this A. The 6th piece we call B, and the last piece we call P. Please keep this in mind. For our second activity, let's classify the Soma cubes. First, let's classify the 7 Soma cube pieces into either pieces that can be stacked on the first level and pieces that cannot be stacked on the first level. V, L, T, and Z are pieces that cannot be stacked on the first level because they are essentially 2D. What does that mean? Well, A, B, and P are pieces that can be stacked on the first level because they have multiple levels within the piece. They can be combined also by being stacked on the first level to make the 3 by 3 by 3 big cube. Next, for activity 3, let's find 2 pieces in the Soma Cube set that, when reflected in a mirror, appear as mirror images with a left-right reversal. We call this chiral in 3D. Can you guess which ones they might be? Correct. It's these 2, Soma Cube pieces 5 and 6, or in other words, A and B. For activity number 4, let's use the Soma Cube pieces to create a 3 by 3 by 3 big cube. First, try this on your own, and then we'll reveal a method that you can use. For our first step, we're going to take L, or Soma Cube piece 2, turn it around like this, and place it there. For our next step, we'll be using T. We'll rotate it like this so that it fits in perfectly with L. Now, for our third step, we'll be taking A, or Soma Cube piece number 5, and place it on top of T and L. So we'll have to shift it around like this, and place it right here. Next step, we will be taking B and also place it on top of L and T and next to A. Next, we'll be taking V and place it behind B next to A. taking our Z Soma Cube piece number 4 and place it over here. And by now you've probably guessed our last step. That's taking Soma Cube piece number 7 and placing it right here.